Inspiration Nation, hello, Lee Kemp here once again with Joe Neuer. Hey Joe, how are you doing?
Yeah, good. Happy to be here again.
Week 14 now, it's steamrolling on with the episodes.
Yeah, hey guys, I'm glad you're with us and it's really good to be back. And it's great. I just can't imagine not being here now. It's a bit of a ongoing thing now, isn't it? It's just a natural progression of what we're doing, isn't it?
Speaking of an ongoing thing, what are we up to on the daily videos now? 200 and...
Oh, crikey, what was it? 227. Oh, lucky I've got it in front of me. Look at that, I brought my journal with me. My journal. Oh, hang on, I brought my journal with me.
That's it. So we are dual purposing today. We are recording for the podcast and we are recording for the first time on YouTube.
Yeah.
I'll try and remember there's a camera there and not do anything too stupid.
The weirdest thing was that I was just doing it. I forgot we were on camera just for a minute. I was thinking it was just that, and it was like brilliant. Are we allowed to mention that we've got someone in the room with us?
No, we're not.
We're not.
We have our recurring third man, Ryan, who's going to stick his hand in and give you a wave in a second.
Hello.
Yeah. Well, don't worry, guys.
An essential part of the team.
Yeah, but don't worry. We'll get him on the podcast one week. We're going to get him on the podcast. Going to interview him. It'd be great.
Talk about Ryan's journey.
Yeah, definitely. We want to hear that journey. I think that'd be great.
Quick mention, as you always do, listen TOIN across all platforms, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Any comments welcome from anyone. Any likes or follows much appreciated to get more of the message out there.
Mm-hmm.
More and more feedback in terms of the stuff we're putting out for the quotes from the show, and also for Joe's daily videos that you can catch there as well. You can also see Joe at JN Coaching Tech.
Yep.
So, what is the subject today, Joe?
So, before that though,
okay,
I know it's your birthday tomorrow.
It is my birthday tomorrow.
So it's your birthday tomorrow. I know we're recording this, but I just wanted to. I got you a little something.
Thanks, Joe.
I got you a little something. Not the best rapping. I'm not the best rapper in the world. Not as in but like as in rapping.
We should get rid of the camera now that you've done that to the camera. It's
I
off.
do
It's over.
I do dad jokes. I'm loving this. All right, so this is for you.
Oh, thank you, Joe.
It's my own handy rapping. It's not the best. I probably need some training in rapping. So.
Are we opening this live on air?
You should do it. You should do it. Open it up.
I will follow the social convention and open the card first.
Okay.
Even though I don't really care about the card and it's all about the present.
Okay, good.
But I've got to be polite, haven't I?
Yeah, why not?
Is the present allowed to be on camera? Is it safe to be on camera?
Well, we'll see.
We'll throw in the other.
Yeah. So Ryan, if it is one of those things you can't show on camera, can you do something magical with that, please?
Yeah. Turn it into a bottle of
beer. To a fun guy. Thanks, Joe. Kisses in there as well. That's what I love.
Of course, yeah.
Right.
Let's share the love.
This is awful rapping, Joe.
I know. Hope you like it.
Oh, look at that though. Hold on, if I obscure it, it is a character from a well-known game that I may have mentioned many times.
Can't we show
on the show.
it? Can't we? Why have we cut it up?
Yeah.
Are we now like cover up?
Fortnite. I said Fortnite all the time. I don't think it needs any more help advertising. And it's Carbide. Ryan, are you a fan of Carbide?
Yeah, he's one of the old season skins, isn't he?
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate
I know nothing about Fortnite.
We can put Fortnite in the title now as well.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about Fortnite. I got guidance from my daughter about that. So apparently it's a classic. So
tell her that I said thank you. It is a classic as well.
There you go.
Look at that.
There you go.
Thanks, Joe.
That's all right. You're welcome, man.
I feel the love.
That's what it's about. Inspiration Nation. That's what it's about, man. Okay.
I also got a. Yeah, that's my. I think that's my third bit of Fortnite merchandise for my birthday. There's a thing
really?
running, yeah, my
do you know
brothers
what?
as well.
I must have got that through you for the people. I think you must like Fortnite.
Yes.
I think you're giving the vibe, man.
I do have other interests.
Yeah, of course it does.
Right. So
anyway, let's get back
on.
to this. Right. So today it's about conflict. A little bit of conflict about between action and fear. So how being afraid, I think, is a signal for us to take action. That's what it's about, really. So I'm not going to have any objectives this week. I just wanted to sort of explore this a little bit deeper. So when I went back into, if you went to look at my videos, video 209 this was, and I took a bit of inspiration from that, I thought it would be good to talk about this a little bit more in depth. So I'm not talking about the physical danger in terms of, if there's a bus coming at you, you've got to get out of the way of it.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about that thing where you maybe sitting doing your work or sitting at home, and you think you're getting an idea in your head about, oh, I've got to do this, but you don't want to do it. And it's a signal, it's like a signal it gives us to think, actually, we should be doing that thing when you don't want to do it. In fact, that is also what happened to me this morning. I didn't even plan this. It's like about my video this morning, actually, video 227. Well, I didn't actually feel like doing anything. I was in my bed and literally I felt no
Just
energy.
for some context, Joe, what time in the morning was this that you were in your bed?
This was about 5 a.m. and I stayed in bed till 6 a.m. fighting with my mind about getting up or not, and this was like an ongoing battle. And so what because obviously I've got goals that I want to achieve with all the stuff that's going on with Inspiration Nation and all the videos and stuff. And the thing that brought me through, and in the end I went running and I did the video when I was doing the run, is that it's important that when you get that signal that you're not afraid and you get up and you do it. I suppose I wasn't really afraid, but it was more around I didn't want to do it. So there's probably two bits to this. There's one, you don't want to do it, and there's two, there could be a fear, like when you want to give a presentation or something. So earlier this week I had to go and talk to a higher manager about some coaching, and I felt some fear around that, but I went and did it anyway. But I feel more comfortable than that than I felt that a little bit easier than I actually felt with this. And so I want people to get in connection with that uncomfortableness, I suppose, that fear of whatever it is, to go and face it, go and chase it down,
so
and eat it.
Is this about pushing through that conflict?
Yeah, it's pushing through the conflict, and I think it's a good signal. It's something I don't think we sort of push back and we go, no, I'll tell you what, I'll go and do something else that's a little less. It might be like, I'll distract myself and put on like a TV show, or I'll distract myself and go and play a video game or something. But you know that the thing you're thinking about is really important. And I think this is where I want you guys to be focused on it and still have those. Of course, go and play games and all that. It's really important. But what I think the thing is, when you want to achieve something, you've got your goal, you're feeding into it. Fortnite. Other games are available. But it's just being in tune with what is it you're trying to achieve and what are you doing every day to do it. And you're getting signals all the time. It's whether you choose to take it on board or not. And that's what I'm talking about in this whole episode. And I want us to explore that in a bit more depth. So it comes from the heart, really. You know when you've got to do it, get that sort of palpitation. It's getting that signal for action, and it's really weird when you think about it. It's a bit counterintuitive, isn't it? You're afraid, so what's your brain telling you? To step away from it?
Well, I presume it's fight or flight, isn't it? And
Yeah.
quite often it's flight because the only person you've got to fight is yourself. Or is it embracing that fight and pushing yourself through doing that sort of thing?
Yeah, well, think about maybe a time that you've had. I don't know. Ever think about it? But like for me this morning, it was twofold. It was the one I just didn't want to do. I had no energy, and even but going through the day doing certain things like getting ready for this, so writing up for the podcast. I start to take those little actions each day that build me towards it. And actually, this morning was a real major push through. And so I did make sure I captured that also on Instagram. The little, I can't call them little stories. So but then I posted one when I was feeling not too great, and then I posted one as I was going through the day. And in fact, I'll just mention at Life at Phantom, Mark Drago's, who's with Devin Carr, going to do a sort of podcast together. And I messaged him and I said, I'm not feeling it today, I really need to hear. And he was talking about something similar, which is really weird. I haven't put in my notes, but it's something that sort of evolved actually as we're talking. And he said, you've got all day to make that better. And it's really weird. And since I had that message, it's like, because I've come to here, it's been a really busy day, had to go into like Eastbourne, go and pick up some stuff, take my daughters to their work and the train station. But every time I'm doing those things, they're tasks that are getting me through that day, pushing through. And then ultimately, I thought, God, this day's out there is so crazy. But pushing through those things and making sure when that run was the first step to get me to here. Like I could have easily just stepped back and gone, I don't want to feel it today. I say, hey Lee, I'm not feeling it today, not going to do the podcast. And that's where the danger is, where you're not pushing through to ultimately get to where you want to be. So the ultimate thing for me is to do coaching to help people through that difficult. If I can't face that myself, then how can I add that value? And this is what I want to pass to you guys, and to everybody who's listening, is to, if you get that moment where you feel afraid, is to step into it, take a little action towards it. Even if not the whole big thing, break that big thing down to something small you can do straight away. And once you start doing your chipping away at the big thing, if it's like that meeting with that person you don't want to meet, what's the first thing you do? Can you send an email? Maybe even you send an email at first and then get into the conversation. Whatever will make that a little bit easier.
Right. And I'm just making 100 notes there. People can see I do this now, so I do it for you because you sparked a few different thoughts in my head there around different things. And before we go down too many rabbit holes, so first of all, like you said, and the running thing resonates with me a lot, and this goes back to when I was a lot younger, and I used to go to the gym. People watching on YouTube can see I do not go to the gym now, but I used to go quite a lot. Me and a friend, we were both really into it, and we'd go every other evening and at the weekends as well. And quite often what I do is I'd get home, because we go about 8 o'clock or something like that, so between 8 and 10. And I'd get home and I'd have dinner and I'd feel sleepy, and I'd always go through this cycle of thinking, God, I can't be arsed with this. We might have to beep out that word there, or I'll tick the explicit content box. But I can't be bothered to go to the gym. Is it easy to stay here? But again, and kind of linking back to where we talk about accountability partners and doing stuff with other people, I would pick up my mate who didn't have a car and take him to the gym. So there was a big thing there that made me do it, because I was letting someone down if I didn't do it. And then I'd go and we'd have a bit of a chat and we'd do whatever we did to work out. And obviously from doing exercise you get all the endorphins and everything else like that. So by 10 o'clock I felt fantastic, and I was really glad I went. And I always know that I feel that after I've done it, but I'd still always have that push through at the start about I can't be bothered to go, I can't be bothered to go. And especially if I was going by myself, I'd give in to that a lot more than if I had the reason to go. But then once I'd done it, I felt a lot better, and you don't kind of get that reward feeling if you just give in and don't go.
Yeah.
And then I want to completely contradict myself.
That's what it's about. That's what it's about.
So I read something today that's quite interesting. And again, I suppose it's that balance to everything, because I do think there is a risk sometimes, and I have this bobbling in my head with all the various things we have going on, is keeping an eye that I don't hit burnout as well.
Yeah.
Because I think you can, and a lot of the stuff that we look at, and then through the messages we give out on Twitter, it first forces certain messages in my direction, and there's a lot of it that is push. But I do think within that cycle, and I do think you've got to push more often than you give in, because otherwise you never achieve anything. And this is an example of it. It would be very easy for us to not do this podcast, and because it's not just an hour sitting recording, there's all the time outside of it in the promotion and the prep and everything else, and it's something that affects our lives on a daily basis. But I'm really glad that we do it. But I think it's just that conscious. I saw something that come up on Facebook, and it was actually saying, because I feel this as well, is we do this, we have work, spending time with the kids, then it's spending time with family, then it's spending time with friends. And as you get older, I'm really lucky that for all the different times I've had in my life, so being at school, the first place I worked, the second place I worked, the place I work now, I still am in touch with people from each of those circles.
That's very good, yeah.
And I really love it, and I really value the people I still talk with, either some of them on a daily basis, some of them once every 6 months, but it's like we talk every day when we speak to each other. But it can be very draining to keep all of them going all the time, and then guilt starts to set in that I'm not following up as many times on everything. And I saw something that's just a really nice message that said sometimes taking care of yourself is letting other people down. So sometimes you do have to say, no, I can't do it just now, which I think, on say to balance out the other message, but keeping in the context that you can't then use that to never do anything. If you're someone, again, if you're listening to this, you're someone who probably is ambitious and has goals, and if you don't want to do anything, that's fine. But if you have these unfulfilled ambitions, they're always going to be unfulfilled unless, like you say, Joe, you wrestle with that conflict. But I sometimes have the conflict the other way round, where I'm probably pushing myself too much because I'm trying to fulfill everyone's needs all at once, and it gets a bit much sometimes. And I suppose it's where that balance is in the middle, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I really like that. And I think the whole thing about this, though, is the reason why you're doing this. That's what it comes back down to, is why you're doing the thing you're doing. You shouldn't be about the result. It should be about the process of doing the thing. If you love the process of doing the thing, like, for instance, like Ryan, like he loves doing video, right? He loves that. Like, but me doing video, like, it would kill me. Like literally editing and stuff like that. It's just not me. It's not me.
Oh yeah, but you want the outcome of it. But if you were doing it, it would just drain you.
Of course, I'd do it if I need to. But the whole thing that whole thing for me is that would just kill me. But so what is the reason we're doing this whole thing is because we enjoy the process of doing it, not because we're going to have like X amount of listeners or X amount of this. It's because it's good. It's what we're trying to do. We're trying to put good in the world. We're trying to provide service, value to people so they can move on. So that's the reason we do it. That's probably one of the reasons I push through, because if I don't do this, I can't talk about this.
Yeah.
Right? I can't go, hey guys, push through. And I sat there this morning 3 hours in my bed going A&E. But I do recognise that thing about looking after yourself. So I'd advocate that. Like, if you are in a really bad space, you should take care of yourself first so you can then help others. You can't help others if you're not in a good space. So there is a balance. And hey, let's look at this, right? My balanced life will look different to your balanced life, right? Okay, we all have different lives. Ryan's balanced life will look different to mine. Ryan will have different things to be interesting, so it's going to take a bit of that, right? But if someone didn't like doing coaching or something, if someone would jump into my schedule and they go, oh, I can't do that, it's nuts. What are you doing? Like I'm going to work, coming back, doing stuff in the evening, recording the videos. Think, what are you doing? My family think I'm a little bit obsessed, crazy, but that's because I love it, because it's the process of it, it's the growth, it's the messages behind it. And that's why I'm going back to that fear thing, is that, there is fearful things about this. And when we first did the podcast, I felt fearful a bit. Oh, how are we going to think like that? Our judgment thing, and eating that up as well. So another thing that come up is like judgment about things as well. So I think there's good few things like burnout. it usually happens when people are doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, people might be doing it for whatever reason it is. I don't know if they're doing it for money or whatever. But if someone just does it for the money, they're never going to crush against the people who are passionate, because the people who are passionate would do that for nothing. So that's the thing. You've got to find the real reasons to why you're doing your thing.
I've seen a lot of stuff recently, and I know you commented on it in a recent video, and I've seen quite a few other people where they talk about that money thing, where people are chasing the wrong thing. Obviously, we all need money to survive, but, and I do agree with it, I think if your sole reason for going into something is the money, your intentions are going to be wrong.
Yeah.
Because you can make good money in almost anything if you commit to it and you go and you put in the hours and you put in the effort and everything else. But I think if you're hunting something out, then it's the wrong thing.
And I think that's where you get the burnout. Because people are doing it because I need to do it because I need to get that.
They don't enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah, they're just doing it because of that. But if you love it, if you love the actual thing of doing it, that's when you don't get the burnout, because when you do it, it fills you up. It's the thing that makes you go.
There's a bit which, and I've said this before to people in the past, I think, when it's been a bit too much focus of that, I think it's almost, and I've learned this myself, is once you let go of that being a primary focus, it's actually much more likely to happen, because once you start following what you're doing rather than what's it worth, the worth almost follows.
Yeah, I agree. No, and it's funny, Gary Vee, I was listening to Gary Vee video, and it's like saying, don't, like, when people say, I haven't got my followers or whatever, don't look at that. He says, just imagine you're doing it for the rest of your life. This is the thing you're going to be doing for the rest of your life. You're not going to stop. So this is the whole thing. That's the process. You don't look at that. You look at the process of the doing, and that's the thing. And there's always going to be people that will be listening. There's X amount. We talked about the sort of last quarter review in the last podcast, and that's what it's about. It's about doing the thing, the next thing, because you're doing it because you love it, and you're providing value, you're providing service, and that fills you up, and that gives you something to work on.
And I suppose, and we were talking before the podcast, so the outcome here for us isn't how many people have listened. The outcome is that we feel good that we've delivered good content.
Yes.
And I think, this is something I see in a lot of, in workplaces and where you observe things going on externally with things, is when people become obsessed with the data and the detail, and the outcome almost becomes, like for us, if we were to obsess that everything rests on whether we get more or less followers each week, we'd start rating the content of our quality on that. Whereas the two do follow each other, but they also, there could be a million different reasons people have stopped listening, and it's not always that it's rubbish content. It just might be it's not the right content for them, and I think you can end up drawing too many assertions from things that aren't necessarily there,
and it skews where your message, it skews what your authenticity is. We talk about authenticity, it skews it because you're trying to, they didn't listen because that maybe, and you're starting to go, you're not being the true people. So people listening to this are listening because it's stuff that resonates with them, and that's the whole point, and that's what it is. So if we do this for the rest of the life. Anyway, going back to that,
speaking of results, if you want good results, you should head over to JN Coaching Technologies. Stick JN Coaching Tech into Google, it will take you to Joe's website. It is full of great resources for you to use. There's lots of reading materials that Joe's put on there, some of the theory stuff that sits behind this. You can see Joe's daily videos, and subscribe to Joe's blog as well. And of course, as we say, coaching is Joe's bread and butter. It's what he does. If you want support from Joe, you can get in contact at the website as well. That is JN Coaching Tech.
Excellent.